This is a demonstration of how I make a Millefiori paperweight or pendant like that. And this is a very simple and quick way of doing it. I don't know if this is the right way of doing it. It's certainly not what people told me to do. But it is very similar to the furnace worker method that they do over in Italy all the time. They've been doing it for like 1,000 years, and it does work. The basic procedure for this is really simple. All you need to do is start with an arrangement of Murrini like this, and you gotta get some that will stand up straight and they're reasonably the same size so that the top surface of this isn't all bumpy. But they don't have to be exactly the same height. There's a little bit of freedom in this method. And get some that look good together and follow some kind of color scheme. Arrange them on your Marver like that. And then you're going to gather up a nice big gather of glass. Press it out just a little bit until it's slightly bigger than your grouping. And then we're going to heat that gather again. And then plunge it over this arrangement of Murrini. And if you do it right, they stay together and they don't crack or anything. So then you bring that back up into the flame, and I'm going to compress it a little bit and shape it into a pendant or a paperweight or whatever it wants to be at that point. I'm just going to gather up some of this to start off with. So just angle your rod up into the flame that way. And I like to heat just behind the gather so that I'm actually heating the rod and, heating more glass to add in. So I aim my flame like right in between the shoulder. Alright, so I think that's enough glass. Now I'm just kind of centering this up and evening out the heat a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to heat like the bottom part and press this out a little bit. Check it against that. Yeah, it's just a little bit bigger than that, so that's what I want. Now I'm going to heat up the bottom, straighten this out a little bit here. And then I'll do the plunge. So I want the bottom of it to be just a little bit rounded, and I want it to be pretty hot so that it flows down around the Murrini. I want it to flow on center, so I wait a little bit and then right onto those. Then come back up into the flame and heat from the back. Now you might have heard the Murrini crack a little bit when I did that, and they kind of crackle and you can hear them, but they don't break apart. So yeah, once you've heated the glass through, you can come around to the other side, heat this up a little bit. I've got part of it that I want to heat a little bit more right there. And then start pressing in real gently. See if you can get back on center. Alright. So now I'm going to sort of compress it by heating the outer edge and flowing some of that clear glass around. And down in towards the middle. I got it a little off center. I think I pressed it down off center, actually. Yep. So just add a little glass where it needs it. And it'll sort of center back up. It's really hard to get them totally on center again, but it'll be closer than it is. Somebody's making a ton of noise outside. What the hell is that? Fireworks. What the fuck? Anyway. Well then, just continue to compress it a little bit more here. And then I'm looking to see if there's any bubbles like in between them still, or if all the glass, it looks mostly like the glass has flowed in between them pretty well. So now I just kind of heat the bottom a little bit and shape the rest of it so that it's flat on the back and it's not like concave or anything in the back. Make it all even. Sometimes I might add a little bit of clear glass over the back of the Murrini, but usually not. There we go, that's fairly even on the back. Got a nice shape around the edge as well. Now, I'm going to take this color, and I decided to use red instead actually. I've got this, I don't know what this is, I found it at a fusing studio here in town, and they didn't know what it was either. They had a bunch of 104 glass sitting there, and they were like, we don't use this, we don't know what it is. They only do fusing stuff there, so. Just gonna put a gather of this on the back here. Then, just trying to heat that gather of red and not the rest of the pendant if I can. Warm up that gather and then press it in. Now I did this on this Marver for the video, but it's best really to hold this up at eye level and do it where you can see what's going on. But I'm gonna press that out maybe one or two more times. And as long as it's reasonably centered, then I'll be happy. Close. If it's not centered, heat up the part that needs to go farther a little bit more. Make that part softer. Press that down, that part will slide out a little bit more. Alright. This is pretty good so far. So there we go, that looks alright to me. Yeah, so I'm just going to melt in the edge of that so that there's no undercut there. So now I'm heating the clear glass, getting it to the same temperature as the red, so they'll join together. Press one more time. Just trying to get it to go out a scoosh more. Yeah, there we go. So now just one last like flattening of this. For shaping purposes. There we go. Fire polish out the chill marks here real quick. And then I'm going to use my red rod to make a punty. So that when I take it off, there won't be any weird color there. Wow, I actually got that in the middle. Then obviously I'm going to take off the big rod. Getting rid of any scum or bubbles because this is going to be the front lens of it. One little bit there. There we go. I think I got it. So I'm giving the front of it a real good heating and trying to even it out and get it centered just so that the glass is centered. And I like the edge and everything. And then to shape the lens, wait till the heat evens out and then just kind of hold it vertically. And the glass will flow into a nice round shape. And that's really the first point where you kind of get to see what it's going to look like. So there's a little bit of space in the middle. It came out alright. So this is a little bit uneven still, and you're going to have to maybe do this a couple times to get it so that it's perfectly round, but one more time like that. Then pick a way that you want it to hang. See, I like to hold it out, look at it. I'm going to do it basically that way, so that's the orientation. So the bottom is here. So I'm going to punty onto the bottom with a clear rod. Then take off my red one. I want that to sort of be a cold seal there. That'll make life a little easier. It is. Then, yeah, I'm gonna take off that red rod there. And just melt that in. Back. Then I like to use the same color rod as I used for the backing to make the bail, and that's handy because this rod's already ready to go. But yeah, to do that I heat up this a little bit here. I want to put a dot, this red, right in the middle on the front. And then I'll melt that in so that there's no undercuts or anything there. Then, just like I did before, I'm just going to put a lot of red here. Then, very simply, I just use my mashers to mash that out into kind of a lollipop shape if you can, or nice square. Yeah, that'll work. Then just using your tweezers, just bend it over. Pull a little bit as you do that, and that will help you make the hole a little bit bigger. Yeah, just shape that up with your tweezers and stick it onto the back. And I try to connect it right there where the color is. you have one of these, you can make a little bit of a straighter hole. It's a carbon fiber reamer. Graphite, whatever you call it. There we go, that's it, and I'm going to give it one last good heating. Sort of flame anneal it. Get that. There we go. The reason I'm doing this is because my kiln's not warmed up, and I'm going to take the chance of annealing this in a fiber blanket just to see if it will work. So I'm going to warm those up a little bit, top off that. Oh, got a little extra there. There we go. Alright, let's see if that survives. Normally you want to put a pendant like that in the kiln right away, but I just didn't have it ready. Amazingly, it did not crack after just being thrown in the fiber blanket, but that's what it looks like. And yeah, the Murrini are all in one piece, facing up. Like, they got a little bit spread out right there, but aside from that, it's not bad. So there you go, quick and dirty Millefiori pendant.